Hey guys, I got some super cool stuff that I want you to see today. I'm out here at my buddy Harley's. He's got a 63 Galaxy with a 427 single overhead cam motor that is super rare. This motor was designed to basically compete with the 426 Hemi back in the 60s. Very rare, you don't see them very often, but today you're gonna get a chance to see one, so let's go check it out. What up, buddy?
Hey, what's happening?
Harley, how's it going, brother?
All right.
Just running around the countryside looking for junk.
All right.
No, this thing's very Okay, hey guys, I'm out here at my buddy Harley's. Good friend of mine. He's got an awesome shop, which you guys I'm sure will see. But the cool thing that I came out here for today is a badass motor that me and Harley have been talking about for a long time. He just inquired this motor. He's put it in his 63 Galaxy. This car is sick. It's a badass car. It's gonna be a sweet race car. But look at this motor right here. It's a 427 Ford motor, dual overhead cams. Very rare, very rare car. You think a 426 Hemi is rare. This is super rare. And I don't know how many of these were ever really made, but there couldn't have been over, I know there probably wasn't over 500 of them built that I know of. From my knowledge and what I know is, I think from 63 to 65, the 426 Hemi was just dominating NASCAR. So Ford put together a motor that was basically to kill the Hemi, right? This was the motor right here. And I don't think it ever really made it, did it, Harley? Did it ever really get to the... It never made it to NASCAR, did it?
No, Ford got it all ready to go, and then NASCAR immediately banned it. You know, with a lot of Chrysler pressure, because if the Hemi would have never even come close to catching this thing.
So is this... you were telling me that they made a lot of aftermarket parts for this motor, but also this is a lot of Ford product that's on this thing. I mean, to the valve covers, right? Yeah,
this one here has a Dove aluminum block because it was originally put together. I don't know what it was when it was brand new, but originally it was assembled and put in a 27T bucket that Coddington and some other people built, which I think was probably one of his earlier cars because it was built quite a while ago. And the rest of it's all original Ford, including the very rare, because all of the original engines were iron, heads and block. Ford wasn't worried about the weight so much as, you know, longevity and reliability. But they did make a run of aluminum heads, and this is the original Ford aluminum heads and does have the proper stampings that would be on that engine. And it does have the original magnesium valve covers and all that stuff. And all the valve train stuff is original Ford. And the water pumps at Dove. Aluminum, because the original one was iron, and when they built that car they wanted everything aluminum. Right.
So Dove basically, because not a lot of people know who Dove is, was basically like an aftermarket, like Eldebrock building parts for, performance parts for these motors, basically to, you know, polish aluminum stuff, making them look a little bit cooler, working a little bit better, lightening the motor up. I mean, I'm sure that this water pump right here has probably got to cost you $800.
Well, pretty close to it. Actually,
if you wanted to go buy that right now, it'd probably cost $800 to $1,000.
Right. Edelbrock makes an aluminum water pump, and some aftermarket guys get it and then shorten it, and then they want it, like you said, they want probably close to $800 for taking the regular Edelbrock one and shortening it so it'll fit on this engine.
Yeah, and I mean, there's always modifications for your application of what you're putting in it too, which I can see that you've done some. Yeah. Some here. It looks like at some point somebody probably clearance this and welded it in there.
Well, this was in a show car, so what they did was they cut off this, which is what I needed to bolt on my power steering. Most guys put this in the car, virtually everybody. It's all basic, you know, it's made for running. So they don't have power steering, they don't have air that I'm going to end up putting on your compressor. It's just a basic thing to run. In fact, when I got it, there wasn't even a hole in the water pump for the heater hose. I had to drill that and thread it. So, so I want it streetable, and I want to have all the conveniences.
Speaking of streetable, I mean, a lot of these motors were a high compression motor, and this one here is a lower compression, so you can street drive it on what,
Right.
100 octane or?
Well,
Can you run
should
91 in it?
regular, actually.
Can you run on 91?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll run on that. It's just a matter, this one's around 10 or 10 and a half, the guy told me it originally had the engine belt. Originally it was 13 to 1, that'd have been really kind of rough for the street. So it was made to be a really rescreedable engine, and then normally it was a 427, so now it's a 482 inch with a Crowder crank and rods. And the cams are reground. Originally the cams were all ground for nitro.
Oh, nice.
So these ones are ground to operate on the street.
Now you got two 750 Hollies on it?
I think they're 780s. They came on 429, 460 boat motors. When I got the engine, it had two 850 double pumpers, and that's just too much for the street because I want it to be a nice streetable engine. So I'm not trying to get all the power out of it. I mean, just looking at it's all I need. It definitely just is going to have way more power than anything I've driven probably in the past.
Well, it's a beauty. It's a beauty. I think it's freaking awesome. Now, a lot of people looking at this motor right now, you're probably not going to recognize what's going on here, but inside the valve covers here are two camshafts.
Single overhead.
Or single overhead camshafts in the top right here. And they're chain driven from here to there. And I would imagine you can get in here and adjust your
There's
tension.
a tensioner in here. You got to make it fairly tight, but I probably left it a little loose. I'd rather have it cams the hair off than break a chain or something. It's
pretty cool how they put these things together and naturally aspirated on just a couple of carburetors. This motor's probably sitting at 750 horse right now. That's a monster, and I can't imagine the amount of torque. I'm sure that this thing probably makes 550, 600 foot-pounds of torque pretty easy. So hopefully we'll get to be able to do a breakdown on it so you guys can see what it looks like on the inside. But this is a very rare motor that you will not see. I've only seen two in my life, okay? And this is the second one. So I was really excited about getting out here today and checking out what Harley's got going on, and putting it in this 63 Falcon, or I mean the 63 Galaxy, excuse me, is gonna be freaking badass. I mean, this car is gonna look good when it's done. So we'll definitely do a pickup on the car when it's all finished. Harley has this thing running. We're gonna come back and show you guys the completion of the car. So maybe Harley can fire this thing up and we can hear what it sounds like, huh?
Sure.
All right, cool, let's hear it run. Yeah, let's go.
All right, it's huge.
That freaking thing sounds good.
Oh, I gotta get my carburetor set and everything, but man.
Oh, it should be badass in this car. This is a pretty cool piece. This is what, like a 34 Ford?
Yeah, it's a 34 Ford with a 47 Merc V8 in it.
Got a V8 in it?
Yeah, well, it came with a V8 originally.
Yep. What was the, they made a, what were they, like 65 horse from the factory back in 34? Didn't they actually up the horsepower in 33, 34?
I think they were 85 horse, I think, is what they were, if I remember right. It's been a while, because they had that smaller version of a flathead they called the 60 horsepower.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then, and this one's, like I said, 47 Merc. I don't remember what size it is. Yeah, I think it's the same as the Ford, 221 maybe, yeah, 239, I don't remember.
255 or whatever, yeah. 255 cubic inch.
Who knows, I'm not a flathead guy. Hey, when I was a kid, flatheads sucked, and as far as I'm concerned, they still suck. But, but people love the old stuff, so, it's a different world today.
Yeah, they're kind of cool. They're pretty nostalgic now. But, yeah, what are you going to do with this thing? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking I'm getting towards running out of time for the dreams I got, so I got a feeling there ain't much going to happen with this.
Well, I might have a plan for it. So if maybe we could work a deal on it, that'd be great.
Sure, we can work something out. Be nice to see someone get some use out of it.
Yeah, it
for
would
a
be
lot
cool.
of years.
I mean, you know, what do you do with it? You know, I mean, it's like you got to either have a 34, 30, 33 or 34 to make it work.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want it to look right.
Oh,
know?
definitely, yeah. Definitely.
So,
well, originally I was kind of dreaming about getting one of those Hercules Woody kits, because I always liked station wagons. I got, you know, newer ones, and I thought, man, that'd be pretty cool. Make a Woody out of this thing. But like I said, I got a few projects ahead of it. I don't think I'm going to live long enough to get to it.
well, shit, let's load it up then. Take it to the house and figure out what I'm going to do with it.
All right.
Figure it out. It's pretty cool to have a 34 Ford frame laying around out here. It's hard. You don't come across that very often. Front axle, rear axle's in it. There's a motor sitting in it. I mean, it wouldn't be nothing to get this thing up and going, so I may have a plan for it. It'll be cool. Load it up. Graveyard of cars. Hey guys, I got my 34 Ford frame back here. Harley's got a bunch of cool stuff out there. Anyway, I do have a plan for this thing, and I might be able to put this thing together at some point. But for now, I'm gonna unload it, set it in my yard, and start looking for a motor and a few of the pieces that'll go to it. So make sure you guys like and subscribe to our page so you guys can watch the follow-up on this car and all the other stuff that we're doing right now. So the like button is where the thumb is, so like it, and then subscribe below so you can be a part of this. Get on there and watch what we're doing. It's gonna be fun.